The death of a U.S. Border Patrol agent in the mountains of southern Arizona is highlighting a growing threat in our state. Tonight, CBS 5 investigates the gangs that even drug smugglers are afraid of. Tammy Leitner in Morgan Loew takes us into the most active smuggling corridor here in the country. It's a place known, very rugged terrain, as Peck Canyon, just 100 miles south of Phoenix.
We've seen the images and know the message. Drug smugglers are dangerous. But there's another threat in these hills and mountains that even the smugglers are afraid of. And we're heading into the hot zone to find out why this area of southern Arizona in particular is notorious for these attacks. After a few miles of driving, it's time to hike, and the trail is a rugged one. We're about 10 miles north of the border in one of the most active smuggling corridors in the country.
But it's not just the smugglers you have to worry about. Over the years, there have been dozens of incidents where bandits have attacked illegal immigrants and smugglers.
It was one of those events that shook the nearby artist colony of Tubac.
My wife called frantically and said, "You need to get home."
Gary Brasher was away from home when 4 smugglers showed up at his front door. 2 of them bleeding from gunshot wounds.
Like any human being, they just wanted help.
Why were they shot?
Some rival groups, actually out of Phoenix, had found that it was more economical for them to simply take the drugs from rival cartels who had already brought them across the border.
It was a new type of predator, now known as border bandits, that struck in the southern Arizona wilderness.
I'm sure the phrase border bandits resonates with you now based on your personal experience.
Well, until this incident happened in our home, I'd not heard about border bandits.
Keep your eyes peeled, folks. Back out in the desert, we're hiking toward the scene of the most recent border bandit attack. Through open prairie and narrow slot canyons.
Where does it say we're supposed to be?
Following GPS coordinates until finally. Looks like this is the spot.
And can you imagine getting into a gun battle out here in the pitch black night?
Miles away from the nearest house. I mean, it took us 2 hours to get here.
On the night of December 14th, an elite unit of Border Patrol agents, similar to a SWAT team, was out here on a mission. CBS 5 Investigates has learned they were planning to finally capture a group of bandits they had been tracking for 8 months. But instead of surrendering, the bandits opened fire. The FBI is investigating what happened. But we have learned Agent Brian Terry, a military veteran and former police officer, did not get off even a single shot. He was killed during the exchange of gunfire and died almost instantly.
We will bring the murderers to justice.
The shootout took place near an old cattle pen, a watering hole, and a windmill.
I was wondering if we would see any bullet holes in this fence, but it's so decayed.
We don't see any signs of the fight, but the ground is littered with evidence that smugglers and immigrants use this spot on a regular basis to stop and rest. It's also a perfect location for an ambush.
You know, this appears to be an active spot for illegal immigrants and smugglers. There's cover if they need it, and the road heading north is right over there.
If you look at this from the perspective of a predator, they pick a location where they know their prey is going to gather.
That's right, and the bandits know that the immigrants are going to stop here and rest.
As we wrap up our look at this backcountry crime scene, a Border Patrol helicopter hovers in the distance, warning us that this is still a dangerous place to be, and will become even more so when the sun goes down and the bandits literally come out of the woods. For us, it's time to head home. If there is any positive news in this, it's that all of these border bandit attacks have taken place in the hills and mountains away from any populated areas.
Right, but that also means that smuggling drugs and humans through those routes has become even more dangerous than it was. And the danger level also has increased for Border Patrol agents and other law enforcement officers working in those areas.